Elon Musk's Twitter is working on paid video feature with high risk, The Washington Post. Twitter's first new feature under Musk could be one that lets video creators charge for access to content. The team working on it flagged big potential pitfalls. Comment on this story. Elon Musk's Twitter is pushing ahead with plans to charge for content, including videos, on the social media site. Twitter is working on a feature that would let people post via +6000 chars. Matthew Perry jokes about his substantial friends' residuals. Yesterday I bought Iowa. Yahoo Entertainment. Yeah. They're not bad, the actor said of the checks he's received from his work on the sitcom, in which he played Chandler Bing. Friends? The one with the embryos, episode 12, aired January 15, 1998, pictured L.R. Matt LeBlanc as Joey Tribbiani. Matthew Perry as Chandler Bing. Jennifer Aniston as Rachel Green. Courtney. +2739 chars. North Korea fires 17 missiles. One lands off South Korean coast for first time, Reuters. North Korea fired at least 17 missiles into the sea on Wednesday, including one that landed less than 60 kilometers, 40 miles, off South Korea's coast, which the South's President Yoon Suk-yeol described as territorial encroachment by Pyongyang. Seoul, November 2. Reuters. North Korea fired at least 17 missiles into the sea on Wednesday, including one that landed less than 60 kilometers, 40 miles, off South Korea's coast, which the South's President Yo. +6383 chars. The neural pathways for vomiting after eating infected food. Neuroscience News. After eating contaminated food, toxins activate the release of serotonin by the enterochromaffin cells on the lining of the intestinal lumen. The serotonin binds to receptors on vagal sensory neurons in the gut, transmitting signals along the vagus nerve to N. Summary. After eating contaminated food, toxins activate the release of serotonin by the enterochromaffin cells on the lining of the intestinal lumen. The serotonin binds to receptors on vagal sensor. +6715 chars. Bizarre new bee species discovered with dog-like snout. SciTech Daily. A new native bee species with a dog-like snout has been discovered in the Perth bushland of Western Australia. It was identified through Curtin University-led research that sheds new light on our most important pollinators. Dr. Kit Prendergast. From the Kerr. Specimen of new bee species. Lioproctus cepha. Credit. Curtin University. A new native bee species with a dog-like snout has been discovered in the Perth bushland of Western Australia. It was ident. +2949 chars. World Series. Phillies romp to Game 3 win over Astros. Teeing off against Houston starter Lance McCullers Jr., Yahoo Sports. The Phillies crushed 5 home runs in a hurry against the Astros. The Philadelphia Phillies came out swinging in Game 3 of the World Series. And they didn't stop until it was out of reach. They crushed 5 home runs off Houston Astros starter Lance McCullers Jr. +3022 chars. Genshin Impact Nahida Best Build. Talent. Ascension Materials. Constellation. Team. And Weapon. Eurogamer.net. Everything you need to know about Nahida in Genshin Impact. Like Best Nahida Build, Nahida Talent and Ascension Materials, Team, and Nahida Constellation. Nahida is a 5-star Dendro character who was added to Genshin Impact during Phase 1 of the 3.2 update. Nahida is featured as the boosted 5-star character in her The Moongrass Enlightenment banner in +18102 chars. Goldman Sachs expects European natural gas prices to tumble 30% in the coming months, CNBC. Goldman Sachs predicts that European natural gas prices would drop by about 30% in the coming months as nations gain a temporary upper hand on supply issues. European gas prices are expected to drop to €85 megawatt-hour in the coming months, said Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs predicts that European natural gas prices would drop by about 30% in the COM +3157 chars. Bron Breakker swarmed by NXT title challenges. WWE NXT. November 1, 2022 WWE. Carmelo Hayes, Von Wagner, Apollo Crews and J.D. McDonough all set their sights on the NXT champion. Catch WWE action on Peacock, WWE Network, Fox, USA Network, Null. Trump News. Live. Supreme Court shields Trump tax returns but lifts hold on Lindsey Graham Georgia testimony. The Independent. Donald Trump News Today. Sign up for the daily Inside Washington email for exclusive U.S. coverage and analysis sent to your inbox. Get our free Inside Washington email. Donald Trump has been granted a temporary stay in his F+7797 chars. Social media influencer reveals fertility status after AIDS diagnosis, HIV+mag.com. Gina Tew has documented her journey since her diagnosis in March. Social media influencer Gina Tew announced in March that she has been battling AIDS, which is caused by untreated HIV. She has since documented her journey on her Instagram and TikTok, where she has +1547 chars. Planet killer. Asteroids nearly a mile long detected after being hidden by the sun's brightness. USA Today. Astronomers have detected 3 asteroids in close proximity to Earth, 2 of which pose a potential threat as planet killers because of their size. Astronomers have detected 3 asteroids in close proximity to Earth, 2 of which pose a potential threat as planet killers because of their larger and hazardous size. But don't worry, says a NAS +3837 chars. NFL trade deadline winners and losers. Dolphins. Vikings swing big deals, while Packers, Rams whiff. CBS Sports. Several teams were greatly impacted by trades they either did or didn't make at the deadline. Once an overlooked part of the calendar, the league's trade deadline has become one of the most important and craziest times of the NFL season. This year's trade deadline did not disappoint. As a rec. +7208 chars. Modern Warfare 2 Multiplayer Review. GameSpot. Modern Warfare 2 dials back Call of Duty's multiplayer experience for a refreshing and more classic feel, but the overall package is incomplete. Null. Twitter reportedly limits content moderation ahead of midterm elections. MSNBC. Alex Wagner shares Bloomberg reporting that Twitter has limited employee access to content moderation tools that would be used to combat misinformation in th. null. Christina Applegate felt an obligation to finish filming Dead to Me amid MS diagnosis. "We're going to do it on my terms." Deadline. Christina Applegate was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis during the filming of the third and final season of Dead to Me back in 2021. The Netflix show took a pause for about 5 months, and the star is now recalling how she felt during that time. Christina Applegate was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis during the filming of the third and final season of Dead to Me back in 2021. The Netflix show took a pause for about 5 months, and the star plus 1519 Chars. World Series. Phillies romp to Game 3 win over Astros. Teeing off against Houston starter Lance McCullers Jr., Yahoo Sports. The Phillies crushed 5 home runs in a hurry against the Astros. The Philadelphia Phillies came out swinging in Game 3 of the World Series. And they didn't stop until it was out of reach. They crushed 5 home runs off Houston Astros starter Lance McCullers Jr. plus 3022 Chars. SpaceX Falcon Heavy lofts USS F-44 on first flight in 3 years, NASA Spaceflight.com. NASA Spaceflight.com. The world's most powerful operational rocket, SpaceX's Falcon Heavy, took to the Florida skies for the world's most powerful operational rocket, SpaceX's Falcon Heavy, took to the Florida skies for the first time in over 3 years on November 1 for the USS F-44 mission, a U.S. Space Force contracted FLIG. plus 6957 Chars. Predators at Oilers 11-01. NHL highlights 2022 NHL. Null. Your browser isn't supported anymore. Update it to get the best YouTube experience and our latest features. Learn more. Remind me later. Spotify is going to war with Apple after the App Store rejected its big new feature, CNN. Spotify is looking to give Apple a good bruising in the press. Spotify is looking to give Apple a good bruising in the press. The music streamer is taking its grievances with the Silicon Valley Goliath public, openly lashing out at the company over a dispute. Plus 3382 Chars. Stock futures are slightly higher ahead of key Fed policy decision, CNBC. Investors are bracing themselves for the Federal Reserve's latest policy decision at the conclusion of its meeting on Wednesday. Stock futures were higher on Wednesday morning as investors brace for the Federal Reserve's latest policy decision at the conclusion of its meeting. S&P 500 futures and Nasdaq 100 futures rose 0. plus 1926 Chars. Zoe Stark vs. Indy Hartwell. WWE NXT. November 1, 2022 WWE. After a locker room run-in, Zoe Stark and Indy Hartwell meet in the ring looking to settle their differences. Catch WWE action on Peacock, WWE Network, Fox, Null. November 1, 2022 Russia-Ukraine news, CNN. Tensions are rising over the future of the Black Sea grain deal, with Russia claiming the corridor is suspended and Ukraine insisting it is committed to its Continuation. Follow live updates here. The Ukrainian military said that Russian forces continue to carry out artillery and rocket attacks throughout the front lines, stretching from Kharkiv in the north to Zaporizhzhia in the south. Altog. +2131 Chars. High-speed video captures how cannibalistic mosquito larvae snag their prey. Ars Technica. 2 species launch their heads like a harpoon. A third relies on tail sweeps. In large mosquito larvae under a microscope. Certain predatory species feed on the larvae of their rival mosquito species. 4 with 4 posters participating. Mosquitoes are the bane of many people's XE. +5056 Chars. Surprise! Black holes can behave like quantum particles. Space.com. Black holes have properties characteristic of quantum particles. A study reveals, suggesting these puzzling cosmic objects can be at the same time heavy and light. Black holes have properties characteristic of quantum particles. A new study reveals, suggesting that the puzzling cosmic objects can be at the same time small and big, heavy and light, or dead and a +3400 Chars. 2022 MLB Gold Glove winners. Cardinals Nolan Arenado. Dodgers Mookie Betts. 14 first-timers. More. CBS Sports. Arenado ties Ichiro Suzuki for 10 Gold Gloves in his first 10 seasons in the majors. Major League Baseball's awards season got underway a little earlier than usual this offseason as MLB and Rawlings announced the 2022 Gold Glove winners prior to Game 3 of the World Series on Tuesday. +1428 Chars. Nintendo expands its Switch Online N64 library with 2 more games. Nintendo Life. Mario Party 1 and 2 have arrived. Subscribe to Nintendo Life on YouTube. Nintendo's latest N64 games for the Switch Online Plus expansion pack service are now officially available. Yes, that's right. Mario Party and Mario Party 2 have +1375 Chars.